Howdy, y'all. I'm Miss Kitty Litter ATX, and I'd like to welcome you to the new Mew Review. And today we're going to be talking about Camp Wannakiki Season 3, Episode 4, y'all. We just moving things right along. And if you haven't guessed, this week's episode is all about water sports. So who wants to go for a dip? All right, before we get started, I'm sure there's some of you out there wondering where my beloved cat Ernestine has disappeared to. Well, Ernestine has taken off with this K-pop band, and currently she's somewhere in Asia just carrying on acting wild. So y'all be sure to send thoughts and prayers for Ernestine, okay? But moving on to this episode, as the episode kicks off, the Sugar Baker twins and Ruthie are sitting there and they receive a mysterious package. And y'all know how the Sugar Baker twins and Camp Counselor Ruthie just love a big package. But this one turns out to be filled with some wigs that are sent from the mysterious JM. JM and wigs. Who could that be, y'all? Well, as it would have it, it turns out that it's James Mansfield. He was our special guest this week. So, the Sugar Baker twins and Ruthie and James Mansfield go to meet up with the campers in the arts and crafts room and tell them that for their mini challenge, they're going to have to take this box of wigs and turn them into something fabulous. Each camper is given a wig to work with and in a very short time had to style it into something wonderful. With the advice, of course, of James Mansfield. In the end, the competition was won by America Powers, whose yellow coiffure outshined everyone else's, and it was lovely. From there, it was announced that the challenge this week was going to be water sports, and the campers were going to have to go out onto the lake and do this thing, which I like to call batalkas, but they called it like a water jousting, I suppose, where two campers would get on this unsteady wooden platform that was floating in the lake, and they would have these long poles with foam balls at the end of it and have to whack each other until one of them fell into the lake, y'all. I'm all about getting hit with a long pole, but not to have it end with me being in a lake. So at any rate, this little bit of shenanigans went on, and they, at the end, the challenge was won by Queen Faraz. And I have to say, it's a good thing that she did win this challenge, but more on that later. After this, it was time for the talent show, y'all. And this week, the theme was going to be a day at the beach, and so I was excited to see what they were going to bring. First to the stage was America Powers, and she was giving you swimming in the Amazon, not Amazon.com, y'all, but the actual Amazon. And her outfit was very cute. She had a life preserver around her. There was a reveal with the towel when it opened that her legs had been devoured by piranhas, and there were bones hanging where her legs were supposed to be with some piranhas dangling from them. It was very cute and funny. Not the usual glamour fitted look that we see from America, but nonetheless quite hilarious. Next up, we had Lucy Couture. Lucy Couture was doing Mama Shark, and she came out. She had this huge inflatable shark costume, and I actually own one of these, so I know they're very unwieldy and uncomfortable to work with. But then she had unzipped that, and voila, she had under that the baby shark. We would do the song, but there's copyright issues. The song about a shark that's a baby. Yeah. Anyways, I thought that the look that she showed after she took off the inflatable shark was much cuter, and that she could have feasibly just came out on stage in that. But as far as reveals go, it was cute. Moving on, we had Gilda Wabbit. And Gilda Wabbit was giving us a Black Widow tease. She was in this black swimsuit with a little black wrap. She had a black parasol. And the story was that she had killed her husband and was taking him to have him sleep with the fishes or whatever. And the outfit itself was rather simple, I will say that. But then when she brought out the prop, which was the body of the husband, I hollered. I thought it was funny. I liked the story. I was there for it. Next up, we have Vivian Vendetta Sinclair. Well, Vivian this week was doing, it was a sand castle. And the only way I can describe it, if any of you have seen the Broadway show Beauty and the Beast, Lumiere the candle that had the arms up like this, with the candles as the arms. It was that kind of thing, but as a sandcastle. So she's holding up her arms. She's got a castle here. She's got a castle here. There's also one up on her head. And then her body, she had a very fitting kind of sand dress on. And there was all kinds of details with it. There was a bucket. There was some starfish. There was just all kinds of stuff going on. And I thought that real sand paled in comparison. Get it? Because sand pale. Grow up. Anyways, yeah, it was super cute. As soon as she came out, it was a gag and a gasp and a giggle. I liked it. After that, Queen Froz came out, and Queen Froz was doing a neon beachgoer. It was a neon beachgoer. It was a neon beachgoer. I don't know. She had a lime green wig in neon, and then she had kind of a neon, like a tank dress kind of thing that was in mesh, and then she had a head wrap with a towel. I don't know. I will, for the positive, I will say the paint was fabulous. I will say that I did like the pop of the neon colors. The color palette was very eye-catching. However, the story was just quite simple. Next up, we have Geneva Convention, and Geneva was doing this gender blend beach cruiser character. And what it was from the waist down, there was kind of a drag king look going on. She was serving male body with a wife beater and some cutoffs, but then she also had the glamour face and a orange kind of mullet wig. The judges did not really care for this look. I had different thoughts on it. My thing was, I actually lived for the gender blending thing. Being a bearded drag queen for many years myself, and seeing gender blend done like in LA and San Francisco and all that, I was there for that part of it. But the costume itself, once again, was rather simple. Cutoffs and a wife beater kind of thing. It was all right. The saving grace was these seagulls that she had attached to the costume that were on wires kind of protruding from her shoulders. And when she first came out, I thought she was doing like a reference to the birds. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going to Montego Bay here. I'm here for it. Bodega Bay? Some Bay. I don't know, Michael Bay. Anyways, Bay of Pigs. I don't know. But it was also quite simple. Next up was She Need This Gig. And She Need This Gig took one of my favorite movies and used it as a reference as she came out as Baby Jane Hudson from Whatever Happened to You, Baby Jane. However, it wasn't really a cosplay. It was more of an interpretation, theatrical. She dragged out a Blanche dummy and proceeded to toss it around. I was living because, of course, I love this movie, and I thought it was very smart to take a movie that's so camp that had a beach scene at the end of it and to use that as your inspiration. So I was quite there for this costume. Um, Next up was Bohemian Rhapsody, and she was doing Sharknado. Sharknado, ooh, Sharknado, ooh. Yeah, so there was this, like, total fantasy tornado going on that was kind of in different shades of blue with sharks in it and stuff like that. Um, and it was huge. And it was obviously a reveal, which it did. It dropped down, the tornado went to the floor, and underneath she had on a swimsuit with sharks coming out, protruding out of her body, with some blood and whatnot. Typically dark, which is kind of her brand, and I was there for it. This would have been probably my favorite look had I not already seen several other people do various interpretations that were along the lines of that look here in shows in Texas. So that was that. At the end, there was deliberation, of course, and the campers got to go and have cocktails backstage, which I'm still just terribly bitter about. Where were our cocktails? At any rate, there was a touching moment when America Powers was talking about how when she came out, the reception that she got and how people treated her and this and that. And when you come out as a gay or lesbian or bi, trans, whatever the case may be, and the difficulties that you encounter, and sometimes that people's reactions and receptions are not always kind. And I really felt that story, and I think a lot of people out there did too. It touched my heart and got me all kinds of places in the feelings. So yeah, I love you, honey, and thank you for sharing that with the world. We need to hear that. So at the end of all this, they wanted to bring back the two top looks and the two bottom looks. The two top looks were Lucy Couture and Vivian Vendetta Sinclair. At the end, it was justifiably won by Vivian Vendetta Sinclair, whose costume was just so over the top fabulous with that whole sandcastle fantasy that I would have been surprised had she not won. Then for the bottom two, it was Geneva Convention and Gilda Wabbit. This one was a little more difficult for me, only because of the fact that I have to be real about it and say that had Queen Faraz not been safe for winning the challenge earlier in the day, then she would have stood a good chance of being up there as one of the bottoms, because her costume was just way simple. And once again, I love her. No disrespect intended. It just was not at the same level as some of those other outfits that were out there. After all was said and done, it was decided that Gilda Wabbit was going to be the one to go home. And as it goes with this series, as we get more attached to these campers, it's harder and harder to see them leave. So it broke my heart, although I do know that Gilda was okay with it. She said that she liked what she presented and she was comfortable with that. And I think that she already has a fabulous career going, so she has nothing to worry about. Big love to you, honey. I hope you do very well. And that kind of ended the episode.